The Israeli Defense Forces, IDF, have intensified their military operations against Hezbollah in Lebanon, successfully targeting a newly discovered missile launch site hidden within a civilian structure. This strike revealed the presence of the DR-3 cruise missile, a modified version of the Soviet-era Tu-143 reconnaissance UAV. The operation underscores a significant escalation in hostilities, as the IDF seeks to neutralize what it deems imminent threats from Hezbollah's evolving arsenal. The DR-3 cruise missile, a modified version of the Soviet-era Tu-143 UAV, has emerged as a game-changer in Hezbollah's military capabilities. Originally developed for reconnaissance, the Tu-143 has now been repurposed for offensive operations, boasting a striking range of up to 200 kilometers and can carry explosives up to 300 kilograms.
Here we are exposing Hezbollah's method of hiding a cruise missile inside a home. The terrorists create a designated opening for the missile launch. Here you can see how we identified the terrorist making an opening in the building that exposed the missile. In a precise strike, the IDF eliminated the terrorist and this missile launching infrastructure shortly before the launch.
The IDF's successful strike not only eliminated a critical launch point, but also highlighted the pressing need for enhanced Israeli defense strategies in the face of this formidable threat. The skies over Lebanon have been filled with the sounds of conflict as the IDF ramps up its operations against Hezbollah. Recent reports indicate a flurry of airstrikes targeting suspected military facilities, revealing a systematic approach to dismantling Hezbollah's operational capacity. As Israeli fighter jets roar overhead, the reality of war looms large, with both sides bracing for an intensifying struggle. Hezbollah's response has been swift and forceful, launching a barrage of rockets aimed at Israeli military installations. This retaliation serves as a testament to Hezbollah's resolve in the face of mounting Israeli aggression. The situation escalates with each passing hour, as the conflict shifts from skirmishes to full-scale warfare, with civilian lives increasingly caught in the crossfire. The toll of this conflict is staggering. Recent reports indicate that Israeli airstrikes have resulted in widespread destruction across Lebanese territories. Homes have been reduced to rubble, and civilian casualties continue to mount, creating an atmosphere of fear and uncertainty. As the IDF conducts its operations, the humanitarian impact grows, raising urgent questions about the path forward. Compounding the chaos, the Lebanese Telecommunications Authority reported an alarming wave of calls originating from Israeli numbers. Over 80,000 attempts were made to contact Lebanese citizens, urging them to evacuate their homes. Described by officials as psychological warfare, these calls aim to create confusion and panic, further complicating the already fraught atmosphere. As the conflict deepens, the Lebanese Health Ministry has reported a grim milestone. The death toll has surged to 100, with hundreds more injured. Lebanon's Prime Minister has called for international intervention, urging the UN and other nations to intervene against what he labels as Israel's aggression. The urgent plea highlights the dire need for diplomatic efforts to quell the violence. In light of the escalating violence, educational institutions across Lebanon are shutting their doors. The Lebanese Education Minister announced closures in Beirut and the surrounding regions, reflecting the pervasive fear that grips the nation. These decisions underscore the severe impact of the conflict on everyday life, as families grapple with uncertainty and danger. Despite the turmoil, the Lebanese populace remains resilient. Many citizens in Beirut have voiced their determination to stand firm against Israeli threats, rejecting the notion of evacuation. "We will not be intimidated," a local resident stated, echoing a sentiment of defiance shared among those who have faced conflict before.
About an hour ago, following indications that Hezbollah was preparing to fire towards Israeli territory, we began striking terrorist targets throughout Lebanon. The Hezbollah terrorist organization has been continuously launching attacks on Israeli civilians and has no plans to stop. This is southern Lebanon. There are dozens of Lebanese villages situated along approximately 80 kilometers of the border with Israel. For over 20 years, Hezbollah has deployed its arms inside homes and militarized civilian infrastructure. As a result, the Hezbollah terrorist organization has turned southern Lebanon into a battlefield. This is a village in southern Lebanon. Hezbollah stores cruise missiles, rockets, launchers, and UAVs inside civilian homes, hidden behind the Lebanese population living in the village. We are monitoring these activities, locating the weapons, and destroying them with precise intelligence-based strikes. I want to show you an example of a strike carried out a few weeks ago. Here we are exposing Hezbollah's method of hiding a cruise missile inside a home. The terrorists create a designated opening for the missile launch. Here you can see how we identified the terrorist making an opening in the building that exposed the missile. In a precise strike, the IDF eliminated the terrorist and this missile launching infrastructure shortly before the launch. Shortly, the IDF will engage in extensive precise strikes against terror targets which have been embedded widely throughout Lebanon. We ask residents of Lebanese villages to pay attention to the message and warning published by the IDF and heed them. This is an advance warning for your own safety and the safety of your family. We advise civilians from Lebanese villages located in and next to buildings and areas used by Hezbollah for military purpose, such as those used to store weapons, to immediately move out of harm's way for their own safety. I want to repeat, move out of harm's way immediately. Hezbollah is endangering you and your families. On October 8th, the Hezbollah terrorist organization decided to join Hamas' war against Israel. Hezbollah's activities are dragging Lebanon and the entire region into a wider escalation, and Hassan Nasrallah is responsible for this. Over the last 11 months, we have been operating to degrade the Hezbollah terrorist organization capabilities and push back Hezbollah operatives and military assets away from Israel. We are operating to achieve all of our goals of the war. In Gaza, to dismantle Hamas and bring back home all the hostages. And in the north, to repeal the threat posed by Hezbollah and enable the residents from the north of Israel safely to return to their homes. The IDF is operating and will continue to operate in defense of the citizens of Israel wherever required.